Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. Week 1 is officially history. Let's rank these teams. Before we get into ranking these teams, we need to talk about how we will be ranking them, because if you do not define the argument is invalid. Thank you. In the top category, we have Super Bowl conversation. These are teams that I think you can put in the same sentence when mentioning the Super Bowl this February. The next spot is comfy playoffs, meaning I think these teams may not be quite Super Bowl contenders yet, but they're going to comfortably make it to the postseason. The third category is simply, they're teams that maybe I expect something from that didn't prove enough in week 1, teams I'm not quite sure about. The fourth category is 6-11, teams I think that will go 6-11, give or take a game. And the final category is wins the draft. That's pretty self-explanatory. No particular order, we will start with the Bengals, and I do think the Bengals are a comfortable playoff team. I don't think their matchup against the Browns in week 1 in the sloppy rainy weather was a great showing for them, but I do think they'll get it together. The Patriots did not look great at the beginning of the game, but take out that first quarter and they hung with / beat the Eagles. So I'm going to put them in the category for now. The Saints, I believe, are a beneficiary of an easy division, so I'm not going to say they're comfy playoffs yet. There's still a little bit more I want to see shake out in the NFC South, but they're definitely going to be better than 6-11. I know a lot of people were high on Pittsburgh this year, and I know the Niners are not an easy team to play, but they didn't have an ounce of positivity. Their wide receiver 1 went down in this game, probably going to miss 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to throw them at 6-11 so I don't offend anyone. I think they'll be better than just playing for a draft pick, but I am not so sure they're in my category. As much as it pains me to say it, the Niners are in a Super Bowl conversation. Sticking with the NFC West, the Cardinals, although they did compete with the Commanders, I do think they're going to struggle without Kyler Murray. The Falcons did have some rays of positivity, although they were playing the Panthers. Pitts and London obviously fell through the cracks a lot. They're going to have to figure the passing game out. I believe Bijan Robinson got the most targets on the team. I'm going to put him at 6-11. The Ravens didn't really face too much of a test this week, but I do think they are a comfortable playoff team. I realize these two are in the same division, but hey, that's what the wild card's for. The Bills are probably my hardest placed team. You asked me this a week ago, I say Super Bowl conversation. You asked me after last night, I'm struggling to put them in comfortable playoffs, seeing how the Dolphins performed in their division, seeing how the Jets looked even without Aaron Rodgers. I'm going, again, this is just based off what I saw in week 1. I'm going to put the Bills in the category. Moving to the Panthers, again, easy division. I think Bryce Young finds a lot of growth this year, but I do see them as a 6-11 team. I know a lot of people were high on the Bears this year, but I don't think they figured out the running back position even during the offseason. Justin Field looked abysmal. 6-11. Well, I think the conditions in Cleveland played exactly into what the Browns wanted to do. I am going to put them in the category. I think they have a chance to contend with these two in the AFC North. I realize they played the Giants, but that offense is rolling. It has a weapon at every position, and that defense is no joke. The Cowboys, it's time to respect them. Super Bowl conversation. I wanted so badly to believe in the Broncos this year. I thought Russell Wilson and Sean Payton would be a match made in heaven. But after what I saw against the Raiders of all teams, we'll slide them into 6-11. The Lions looked good on Thursday. I think I would do them a disservice by putting them in the category. They proved more to me than not, so we'll throw the Lions in comfortable playoffs. I think the Titans are also in an easy division. I think they have some things to work through on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to put them in the category because I do think they're better than 6-11. I think they'll be about 500 this year. I think the Jags win the division, but we'll leave them there out of respect for what they were able to almost accomplish on Sunday. The Packers look great. I mean, fantastic, actually. But is that more about the Bears or more about the Packers? I'm going to put them in the for now, but I'm willing to move them up as the year goes on. It's unfortunate for Houston that I'm going to slide them into this bottom category because I think as Stroud grows, we see Noah Brown take off, we see Dameon Pierce excel, but ultimately, I don't think they win more than 4 games. I will give credit where credit is due. Anthony Richardson looked ready for the NFL. I'm going to put the Colts in the category. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. They beat themselves at the end of that game. Their defense has some question marks. 6-11 is probably fair. On that same token, I do think the Jags made some mistakes this Sunday, but I do think they're comfortably in the playoffs. Without Travis Kelce, the Chiefs' offense looked a little lost. However, I do think they make the playoffs this. Do I? Do I actually? No. No. If it was any other team but the Chiefs did that at home against the Lions, I would put them here. I'm not gonna be talked into putting them in comfy playoffs just because it's Mahomes and the Chiefs. No, we're not playing that game here on the Green Beans Go channel. You hear me? The Chiefs are in the category. Many people predicted the Rams would win 6 games this year, but after what they showed, we're putting them in the category. There are not too many defenses out there that are going to be able to stop the offense of Miami. Tyreek Hill had 6 yards of separation on every play. He had 70 targets, I think. Comfortable playoffs. I just want to take a second and acknowledge just the symmetry of this. This is how tier lists should look, people. Okay? A nice standard bell curve. Thank you. The Vikings were one of my early season picks to make a deep run at possibly the Super Bowl. But my goodness, did they choke on Sunday. It is. I know a lot of people were high on the Giants. Daniel Jones signs the $140 million contract. Saquon Barkley agrees to a 1-year deal. But they have no one else. I'm sorry. The offense looked horrible. It was raining, sure. It was against a great defense, sure. But outside of Darren Waller, I don't see Jones throwing it to anyone this year. This may be disrespectful, but wins the draft. We still don't know how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be out. After watching that game, I kind of thought to myself, the Bills would be getting destroyed if Rodgers was in right now. Their defense is phenomenal. I'm going to have to put them in the category, and if Rodgers comes back in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think they're a comfortable playoff team. Although the Raiders got it done against Denver, I'm still going to put them in the 6-11. I don't think they carry that momentum past the Chiefs and past the Bolts in their 2 games against each of those teams this year. Tough schedule outside of that as well. 6-11 for the Raiders. You saw behind me at the start of this video where my allegiance lies. I know what I witnessed on Sunday. I know what I witnessed. It's a 6-11 team. And it hurts. But I can't lie to myself. Seahawks, 6-11. The Buccaneers were one of the quietest, successful teams this week. Still haven't heard many people talking about it. They were able to walk into Minnesota, compete, and win the game in crunch time. It's time we respect it. The Eagles, yes, won the game, but they didn't look great doing it. A little bit of a Super Bowl hangover that we saw in Kansas City, we also saw in Foxborough, I believe is where they were. Yeah, Patriots. So I'm not going to put them in the Super Bowl conversation. I was watching the CBS pre-show, and 4 out of the 5 analysts have the Eagles in their Super Bowl. I'm not so sure they get past Dallas or San Francisco, but I do think they're comfortably in the playoffs, locking up the wild card spot or the NFC East. Finally, the Commanders had an easy home matchup against the Cardinals, but they struggled to win, almost lost the game. However, I do think Sam Howell is a legitimate quarterback in this league, so I'm going to put them at 6-11. So there are my week 1 power rankings based on what I witnessed from this week of football. I will do this every week, and I will update this sheet every week as we continue throughout the season. Obviously, players are going to get injured. Obviously, teams are going to make moves. So matchups create fights. Styles create fights. We're going to learn a lot as we go through these next 17 weeks. So if you like the content, if you don't want to miss a video, drop a subscribe for me, baby, and we'll see you next time.